I'd like to try a little experiment and see if we can figure out what's going on with this and see if we can fix it. All right, what we have, this is the harmony, and this is what I wanted you to use, and you really have to use it, honestly, because otherwise it's going to be impossible. The source you are using is just not helpful. So here we go. This harmony has two parts to it. One is it has just the verses, which is incredibly helpful. All right, so it tells you, I just found this to be amazing. So let me see, let me get back to the beginning of it. Not the very beginning, but here we go. So Chronicle starts, number 76 here. David is made king over Israel. And here we have our first connection, these two passages. So what you're going to do is that's that, and you just copy the number 76, which is lovely because you can do this, and then paste it in the find, uh, because this is the free Adobe program. If you don't have it, I'll work with you to get it going. And you just do a search for 76. Because this is 76 here, story number 76, according to this harmony. So story number 76 is David is made king over Israel, and it's in 2 Samuel, and it's also in Chronicles. So I'm just going to go there, 76. And there we are. I just searched for it, and it came up with 76. So now this is the same exact number, and it's David made king over Israel. And I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to look at this. I'm just going to go through them extremely carefully and see if they're the same. Times passed, even when Saul was king over us, it was you that led us out and brought in Israel. I'm sorry it's King James, but it's still okay. When Saul was king, it was you that led out and brought in Israel. That's the same. And the Lord your God said to you, you shall feed my people Israel. You shall be prince over my people Israel. You shall feed this. That's the same. So all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron. So all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron, and David made a covenant with them in Hebron before the Lord. And King David made a covenant with them in Hebron before the Lord. And they anointed David king over Israel, according to the word of Samuel on the right side, but not on the left side. So now you're saying, wait, why isn't Samuel mentioned there? This is Samuel. Is that something about Samuel? Or what is that? Why is it not mentioned? Is there some significance? Is there some significance to the fact that this says King David and this just says David over here? It's the same words except that one says King David and the other doesn't. And why does Chronicles add according to the word of the Lord by the hand of Samuel? So something might be there. So you want to take note of that. Now, what you did, I did not like what you did. It wasn't what I wanted. I need something that's like a chart. That looks much more like this. So you've got the Samuel in one column, you've got this one in the other, and the Chronicles in the other column, and you've got a third column that makes short classifications or short observations or short subjects, themes, something like that. Because there's something going on here. Why does this say King David? Why doesn't this say King David? Maybe there's nothing, but why is everything else the same? And also, why does it say according to the word of the Lord by the hand of Samuel? So I'm curious, does that happen anywhere else? You know what that means? You're going to have to go through every single story and compare them. All right, so now that's number 76. So I'm going back to the original 76 here. And I just have the number 76 with a dot on it, so it's easy to find. And I just hit previous, and it brought me back to here. So I'm just going to go through these again. No, that's 176. That's not good. Here's 76. David, so there was a difference. And then I noticed Data concerning the number of warriors who made David king. It's in Chronicles, but it's not in Samuel. Why? Why does Chronicles add that? That's interesting. Okay, let's do another one. Jerusalem captured and made the capital. That's story number 78. So I'm just going to do story number 78 here. 78, and I'm putting the period there. I don't know if I need to do that, but I'm just doing it. All right, so I hit next. That's 178 here, 78. Hmm. And the king and his men went to Jerusalem against the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, which spoke unto David, saying, and David and all Israel went to. Now that's interesting. That's very interesting. Over here on the left, it's the king and his men. But on the right, it's David and all Israel. The author of Chronicles is trying to tell us something. He's trying to tell us that the capture of Jerusalem wasn't just David's soldiers, it was also the people of Israel, the northern kingdom. That's interesting. And then there's the same sort of thing here. And the inhabitants of Jabez said to David, you shall not come in hither. But look what it says here. They spoke unto David, saying, except you take away the blind and the lame, you will not come in hither. Thinking David cannot come in hither. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion. The same is the city of David. Now, I just find that interesting. David took it, that's the same. David said, whoever smites the Jebusites, that's the same. That's the same. But there are some differences. It's, in fact, do you notice here that on the left it says, whoever smites the Jebusites, let him go up to the watercourse and smite the lame and blind that are hated of David's soul. Wherefore they say, there are the blind and lame, they cannot come into the house. That isn't over here. That's in Samuel, but not in Chronicles. That's something. There's some kind of a pattern there. I mean, I don't know if it's a pattern, but what you're going to do is you have this story in one column, you have this story in another column, and then you need to have a third column. And the third column makes some simple observations. I mean, like 2 words or 3 words, not devotional. The things you have in the paper you wrote for me are all devotional. They're not. They're not things that they're going to be easy to search. What you need to do is put things that are going to be easy to search. There's something going on. This has 3 sentences that are not here, or 2 sentences that are not here, and they're kind of a little bit on the offensive side. Over here it's talking about the lame and the blind. Never says that over here. Is there a reason? Does this happen someplace else? We don't know. So now I'm going to go back to where we were and see. I'm just going to roll down this again. I have a feeling. Okay, here we go. The Gadites who separated themselves unto David. But we don't hear anything about the Gadites in Samuel. There's nothing about the Gadites over here. Do you see that? There's Gadites over here, but there are no Gadites over here. I'm going to go to story number 79 because I'm just wondering if there's something that I need to find out. In other words, Yaqoob, what you have to do is detective work. That's a part of scholarship. Part of scholarship is doing detective work to see if you can find something that find patterns. I found patterns, not theological. I don't know if they're theological or not. They're not devotional for sure. They're patterns. And what I want to do is find all of them. And you've got this wonderful book here that you can copy and paste from. You've got it. And so live with the King James. That's all right. That's no problem. And just go through and look at all of these passages. Now, this is where we talked about when the Philistines heard that they had anointed David king over Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David, and David heard of it and went down to the hold. And when the Philistines heard that David was anointed king over all Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David, and David heard of it and went out against them. I don't think there's anything there. I mean, there's a difference, but it could just be that the people in Chronicles had no idea what the hold was. And I'm sure they didn't know what the hold was. So he just said they went out against them. But then, what's the deal with the Gadites? Why are the Gadites here and discussed for all of these verses? Why are the Gadites here? Not discussed in Samuel at all. That tells me there's something about the Gadites that the author of Chronicles saw important. And so you're going to be looking for these things all the way through. You're going to be looking for patterns, and sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not there, and you're just going to have to do it by careful observation. Now, we don't have time. We've lost 2 weeks on this, or 2.5 weeks on this. We don't have time, and so you're going to have to start working several hours a day in this, because this has to be done. And the reason it has to be done is because we're writing a master's thesis, which is not a devotional work. It's a theology work. And you're finding, this is biblical theology, so you're finding theological patterns by looking what's in and out. I can see there's something in and out right here. David's victory. There's something there. Oh, let me show you one that's really very obvious and quite surprising. Let's see if I can find this easily. I think if I just type the word census, I already looked at it. No matches were found. Then let's try. I put the period there, that's why I couldn't find it. So I've already looked at it in this. Nope. Okay, then I'm going to go back. I think it's around 80 something. You're going to have to deal with David's fall with Bathsheba. You're going to definitely have to deal with that. You're going to need to compare all of these and figure out what differences there are there. But I want to do not period of rest. You're going to have to deal with the family troubles. Look at this. Amnon, Absalom is not there. The whole story is not there. And you're going to have to figure out why is that not there. Here's what I wanted. It's 105. Okay, now we're going to go to number 105, okay? That's the 3 days pestilence. You know the story. Now look at this. And again, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against them, saying, Go number Israel and Judah. Well, wait a minute. Look at Chronicles. And Satan stood up against David and moved David to number Israel. And David said to Joab, That's a big difference. Is there a pattern like that? Is there a pattern where Chronicles does not, oh, this sounds like a contradiction, but it's not. But are there patterns in the book of Chronicles where, first of all, where Satan comes up like this? And or a demon comes up, or a spirit comes up that are not in Samuel? I don't know. That would be something you would actually have to check. But to me, that is a big difference. Is this a theological pattern? Can we find other places where the Chronicles tells us information about Satan or demons or spirits or something that are not in Samuel? I don't know. That's something that you're going to have to do by looking through all of Chronicles and all of Samuel using this wonderful tool that you have here. This thing is incredible. Now, I just find it also very interesting that the Samuel story has a lot more information in it. Maybe that doesn't mean anything, But your responsibility is to look at what is added in Samuel and take note of it so that you know this, so that you can see if there's a pattern. Does Samuel often have more information than Chronicles? Why is Chronicles dropping half of the information, almost a third of the information? Why is it doing that? I don't know why. Is there a pattern? Can you see things that are dropped on a regular basis? I don't know. You will know because you have to do it. That's what you have to do. And this is just detective work. It's just going through to detect this. And notice here, I just found it interesting. It says David's heart smote him after that he had numbered the people. And David said to the Lord, I have sinned greatly. And this is what it says in Chronicles. And God was displeased with this thing. Therefore he smote Israel. And David said unto God, I have sinned greatly. Now, there's a difference. Is that difference in, does it happen anywhere else like that? On the left side, in Samuel, David's heart smote him after he'd numbered the people. On the right side, God was displeased with this thing. Therefore he smote Israel and David. Now, I don't know. I think there's something there. Remember, the author of Chronicles is expecting his readers to know the book of 2 Samuel. He expects his readers to know 2 Samuel. And so there's something going on there. I'm not asking for a devotional, or I'm just asking, is there a pattern in the book of Chronicles and in the book of Samuel where this happens a lot? And I don't know the answer. That's really your job. Okay, I don't know. I've probably done too much. But you can see what we're trying to do here. What we're trying to do is detective work to see if we can figure out what's going on. Why is this added? Why is this taken out? Is it common for the chronicler to bring Satan into the story? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. That's your responsibility. Why does David look so bad in Samuel with Bathsheba? Why does the chronicler not mention that? And yet he mentions this. So this is just something that you're going to have to do just by careful detective work. And you have to get on this right away. There's just no time. And so get to work. But I want to meet with you, but I wanted to give you a preview. Okay, take care.